Get your ass up to the chopper pad, bring anyone else you can find too, and whatever you do, don't touch this stuff all over the place. For God's sake, do I have to tell you how to do everything?
Jesus.
This is one of the many terrifying scenes in Still Wakes the Deep, an indie horror game that I feel is very underappreciated. To give you some context, Still Wakes the Deep follows a character named Kaz working on a Scottish oil rig in the middle of the sea. It utilizes psychological horror as well as body horror to convey an experience that I find really terrifying and enjoyable. Playing the game and doing research on it, I can assure you that this game is honestly just amazing. Down to its writing and art style, I find it all very intriguing. Sure, the gameplay can be considered boring if you're not a fan of the walk around and progress gameplay style, but as a player that finds story and characters as the main intrigue, this game definitely exceeded my expectations. But enough with all the no other critic bullshit. This video isn't meant to be a complete review of the game or a rundown of everything that happens, or a video that's 8 hours long talking about the intricate usage of how many f***s are put in the script.
I am sick to f***ing bouking of you wee gobshites messing with my operation.
It's a semi-spoiler free video of me showing you why this game conveys horror so effectively and efficiently.
Something so I know you receive it.
Prick.
Understood.
I will be breaking down multiple scenes in this game that I found horrifying, and I will explain what made it effective for me. At the start of the game, you're about to get into shit with the boss of your oil rig over your past choices.
Kaz, me old mucker. I do.
McClary, to my office. That means now, not as soon as you're ready. Now.
The sweet sound of Davy Rennick.
You think it's the police?
Can't be surprised, Kaz. You heard from Suze?
She's talking about divorce.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kaz. She'll come around.
Not if I get to jail, she won't.
Well, maybe you could have considered that while you were battering Billy Chamberlain's head in.
The boss's name is Rennick, and shortly after he fires you, all hell breaks loose on the ship.
Mr. McClary, so glad you could join me, and sorry to have got you out of bed. Shut the door and have a seat.
I'm fine standing.
Sit your ass in that chair, you f***ing liability.
But I
run a tight ship. Do you understand me? A tight ship.
Technically, it's no shit.
Shut your gob, you Ned prick! I am sick to f***ing bouking of you wee gobshites messing with my operation. That chef might be a mate of yours, but he does not run things around here. I do. Do you understand me?
All right, why don't you just get on with it?
Don't you answer me back!
Is that trouble with the missus?
You're fired. You hear me? Fired.
Come on, man. It's only a wee bit of trouble with the polish. I'm good with the lecky. I keep things running. You said it yourself.
Out! Get off my rig!
Jesus, Gregor! Gregor! Get away from me! Gaz! Gaz! Get back, man! Gaz! Help me! Gaz! Don't let me die, man! Please! I don't want to die! Please, I don't want to die! Jesus, just hang on!
And what caused this was actually hinted within the moments of you getting fired.
This operation and you.
Look, I know.
Shut it! I'm in a meeting. What?
For sake, Gibbo, I don't care.
We're on a schedule. It's a f***ing drill. You've got a f***ing drill, so drill through it.
Yeah, well, Roper's a whiny old fud. He's got a problem with everything.
I don't care if it feels off. Just f***ing do it! Or I'll come down there myself.
Now right off the bat, the idea of drilling into some sort of random alien-like thing and releasing hell spawns upon an isolated area instantly reminds me of The Thing. And I'm right to feel that way. One of the main inspirations of this game is the movie The Thing, and if you haven't seen it, in the shortest way possible, The Thing is a very well-made horror movie praised for its usage of practical effects and the many designs of the creatures and monsters, which Still Wakes the Deep takes inspiration from. Yikes. And similar to Still Wakes the Deep, it follows a group of people as they discover an alien-like thing, or in the thing's case, a literal alien. But the discovery of this causes havoc to release, resulting in both cases to have a horrifying time. And in Still Wakes the Deep, following the explosion and being rescued, you are desperate for answers.
Get his legs! We can't leave him out here! Move! Fuck! Cass! I think he's deep! We've got you, man, alright? We've got you!
And while moving and progressing, you make your way into a more industrial underside of the rig. You meet up with another worker, and she explains that another worker, Gibbo, has gone crazy.
Clear it. Guys, over here.
Jesus, Finn. You alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. Who's making that noise?
Gibbo, he's making that racket.
Should we no find him, help him?
No, I don't recommend that.
What does that mean?
It means he's no alright. After that explosion, he got oil or some shite on him and just, I don't know. He freaked out, went for me. He's still out there.
You mean out here? As in out here with me?
Aye, that's exactly what I mean.
Oh, that's just f***ing brilliant.
As you make your way through, you hear his voice, only he's not right. It sounds like he's being taken over by something, only it hasn't fully done it yet.
What is that? Just take it easy. Christ.
You still hear the cries of what sounds to be a conscious Gibbo. He screams and cries and speaks, and it's haunting. It's truly haunting. And what made this scene effective in conveying its terror is the fact you don't even get to see him. You only hear him, and the devs leave it up to your imagination to fill in what Gibbo has become, and that will always be way scarier to me. It's also the implication that he's still completely conscious while all this is happening. It's simple, it's cool, and it kind of reminds me of the shadow people from Alan Wake, only, you know, a million times more creepy.
Jesus.
Following the horrifying experience with Gibbo, you find yourself in the laundromat portion of the rig. You locate your worker buddy Trots roaming about, but he's been contorted and amalgamated into a weird spider alien-like octopus thing. He moves and crawls and travels through his environment fluently, and my god, it's horrifying. You know how I mentioned this game was inspired by The Thing? Well, the monsters and creatures are what they took inspiration from, and I gotta say, they pulled it off amazingly. I think the design of this messed up, contorted version of Trots is great, and it's very memorable and creepy. Within the scene, it's also a stealth section, and usually in most horror games, I find stealth gets kind of annoying after a certain amount of time. And I find for myself that it mostly stems from the design of the thing I'm supposed to hide from. In a lot of games, the design of a person or creature I often find is pretty cool or alright, but after a certain point, I'm like, yeah, you're cool and all, but leave me alone now. But in this game, the design of the creatures, and pretty much all of them, are so weird and interesting to look at that it truly negates that annoyance I usually feel. And a cool thing I also want to mention, not only for this scene but for all of them, is that the animation is so grossly smooth and realistic. Sometimes in stealth horror, the person you're hiding from may tend to move around in very immersion-breaking, unnatural ways. But in this game, the monsters navigate very fluently and realistically, just bringing that horror to the next level. I also would like to talk about the atmosphere of this scene. Being in the dark with a really f***ed up creature chasing you will always be relatively scary. But I find the atmosphere when inhabited by the creatures really helps in conveying that dark and malevolent vibe. It's mostly because of this environmental clash between the run-down and relatively boring architecture of the rig with this otherworldly, almost gory, alien-like splash that covers it. I can only compare it to like nature overtaking an abandoned location, but you know, way more f***ed up. So as a complete rundown, I find this scene conveyed its horror well because of its brilliant animation of the creature's design, and also just the brilliant atmosphere that inhabits it. Now Rennick. Rennick as a character simply is just a selfish, rude piece of shit. He treats his employees in a kind of dog shit way, and it's reflected through the dialogue, and as you're about to see, the creature he becomes.
Gibbo, I don't care. We're on a schedule. It's a fucking drill. You've got a fucking drill, so drill through it.
Pipe's leaking. If it's not one thing, it's the other. See this whole rig? It's a pile of shite. It's falling apart. And we've only just started drilling. Fucking Cadal. And fucking Rennick cutting corners.
After making your way up to a mostly destroyed interior of the living space portion of the rig, this happens.
Hello? Fucking thing's locked.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Yeah, so Rennick has turned into a giant head that moves with tentacles. Now, as I mentioned before, Gibbo, when he was taken over, sounded like he was like kind of conscious. So we could actually assume that that was his true character under the flesh. But Rennick, as he's turned, still acts like a dickhead. He taunts Kaz and even throws threats at him, which, I mean, that's just normal for him.
I'm fine, Stan.
Sit your ass in that chair, you fucking liability.
But I find it funny with the creature design because it's just a giant head of himself, which could be an indication that Rennick was always just a monster. As he chases you, he destroys walls and tries his absolute hardest to get you, and as you might guess, it's done remarkably well. Mainly for the reasons I've talked about previously with the amazing creature design and animation, but I find it cool because it's scary and it's different, and it proves that this game doesn't rely on similar tactics when it comes to scaring you. Not just cheap jump scares all the time, but really well crafted scenes of horror, scenes that are memorable and amazing. In conclusion, Still Wakes the Deep is an amazing horror game and utilizes true terror amazingly. And when I mean true terror, I mean the kind of horror that never really goes away. When playing a horror game, a lot of them, kind of like a horror movie, build tension and then hit you with a scare, and then it kind of moves on to the next sequence only to recycle that loop and continue it over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's not a bad gameplay style. There are a lot of games that follow that gameplay loop that I personally love. But with Still Wakes the Deep, yeah, it has jump scares, but that tension and anxiety you feel never really goes away. And that's due to the environments, the atmosphere, and the creature designs, as I've stated like a billion times. And even though that may not sound like a big deal, as a horror gaming fan that's played a lot of horror games, it's really refreshing and it shows a sign of really intelligent game design that I personally really appreciate. I've purposely left out a lot of really cool moments within this game, so if you're a horror fan like me, or you have Game Pass, or just the means to purchase it and try it, I'd really recommend you do. It's a really great experience for gamers and extreme horror fans such as myself. I thank you for watching this video and I hope you like it and subscribe for more videos such as this one. If there's any other games you want me to check out, let me know in the comments below. And also, if you don't agree with me, just let me know in the comments. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this game and of what I said. Anyways, stay blessed and I'll hope to see y'all in the next one. Peace.